kids, it's Jack Trash, and welcome in to the Riff with Jack Trash. Today we're going to be joined by Chris McLernon. Chris McLernon has a project that I don't even know how to pronounce it. I think it's Kinell, but we're going to find out. He's got some pretty big names on this. And Chris has been in some bands that you might know. I know what bands he has been in, because one of them is my favorite kind of under the radar band of all time. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. We are not in the Riff with Jack Trash studios as normal. We're in my day job. This is 98.7 The Shark in Tampa. So I'm going to be doing this right before I go live on the air. Hey, all right, so let's get it to it.
Good, man. I don't want to alert you, but there's a shark over your left shoulder.
There is. That's because I am at 98.7 The Shark in Tampa.
Okay. Okay, just checking, because I collect and hunt for McLernon teeth. So it's one of my little hobbies. So I recognize that's a great white behind you. I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you do this?
I live in Charleston, South Carolina. So we're by this thing called I think it's called the Chandler Bridge, something or other, and it's where a lot of that stuff washed up. So I mean, I've got Angustiden, I've got McLernon, I've got great whites, I've got just all kinds of. I've got I got a woolly mammoth tooth.
Wow.
Yeah, I got ribs of certain of like these dolphins. A lot of shark cartilage, because they didn't, or like the spine, because they're mostly cartilage, but the actual spine was not. So yeah, it's a blast, man. I love it. That's closest thing I get to dinosaurs.
You don't have any teeth close by, do you?
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh. And out the door we go.
How's that?
Wow. Holy shit.
Not playing around.
No.
Yeah, I found that one here. It was on we're doing the dig, and I took the shovel and threw it, and I looked back and I'm like, and it was stuck to the bunch of clay that was stuck to the shovel.
Right.
So yeah, so it's just kind of, I sliced in, pulled it up and threw it over, and I didn't see it till it flipped over on its back.
Oh,
I was like,
gosh.
Holy shit, look at that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I love it.
That's awesome. I am one that is like eagerly awaiting Shark Week.
Oh yeah. And I like that. I look at the big Megalodon movies and all this stuff. I'm like, you mean it's not real? I mean, come on, tell me. There's got to be one out there, please.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Just follow Jason Statham around. He'll find it.
There you go. There you go. Probably fight it too and win.
Right. All right. So let's. I have a lot to talk to you about.
Go right ahead.
All right. So I'm gonna go. We'll go back first before we get to the new stuff, because I love this new stuff.
Well, thank you.
Right now, all the rage is tribute bands.
Yes.
And I remember the first tribute band I ever saw was, I believe it was at the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim. I want to say that. But Cold Gin.
Yeah, really? You were there?
I was there.
Wow, man. That was, as you know, that was quite a show.
Yes. Yeah.
That was quite a show. The coolest thing about that show for me was our entrance, because we didn't know how we were going to get down to the stage, because you know how that place is built. The stage is like the bottom of the bowl.
Yes.
And we're like, how are we going to, so I said, all right, just have them like send all the spotlights around old, Alice Cooper style while Kissin' Time is playing. And then when it's done, focus in on the door where we we're standing behind it. And we'll see it. We'll see, obviously, the light hit it.
Right.
So it does, the lights hit it, and we just kick it open, and we're all just standing there, pose or whatever. And this place went crazy. I'm like, God, why didn't we think of this? But yeah, that was a great gig. That was also the gig that Gene said, you've gotten too big. You go back to clubs. You can't do theaters anymore. So we were like, okay, cool. It's your thing. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Exactly.
Did you have any inkling that the guitar player in Cold Gin would be the guitar player in Kiss?
I don't, kinda, because Black and Blue had done 2 records with Gene. And they toured with them, so they knew them well, and they loved Tommy and Jamie, as they should. But Tommy got hired first to do all the conventions that they did, and he's so meticulous about that stuff. Whenever we played anything in Cold Gin, I was like, I didn't have to worry, because it was perfect. was absolutely perfect. So the fact that he's, you know, in that position now, no surprise at all. I mean, he's just not going to do it wrong. He's not going to do it poorly. He's not going to mail it in. That's just not Tommy Thayer. It's just not what he does.
Right. And so I'm going to go. So the next step is one of my favorite bands that nobody seems to know about.
Okay.
And that I believe that I debuted the song at KNAC.
Well, okay. Wow. Okay.
Is Cold Sweat.
Really cool.
I believe that show was at the Palace.
Okay, yeah, we got signed at the Palace. I know for sure, opening for the Bullet Boys. That's for sure.
Right.
Yep. And we played there a couple more times. We opened for Ace there. I want to say we opened for TNT there. We opened for we played there at least twice on our own. And there's another one we opened up for Michael Schenker Group.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, or Macaulay Schenker, I should say to be exact. Yeah, I love playing the Palace. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's still there.
Well, I mean, God, you would think they wouldn't get rid of it. A, it's killer architecture and maybe historic, right? And B, talk about, you know, location. You know?
Right across from Capitol Records.
Exactly. Yeah, right there on Yucca and Vine.
Right. So tell me a little bit about Cold Sweat, because I remember, if I remember right, wasn't it like Oni Logan was supposed to be the singer, and then at the last second, George Lynch stole him?
That's the Cliff Notes version, but that's exactly right. Yeah, Oni was the singer. We got signed off the Palace gig, and we went into pre-production, writing, and all that stuff. And literally, the day we were supposed to sign the deal, because I don't know what it's like now, but in those days, let's say you got signed January 1st, you know, the lawyers and the label and all that stuff would just, you know, whatever, we'll take our time. So it wasn't done really till May, back and forth between Wendy and our lawyer, Wendy Dio, our manager, and our lawyer, back and forth. And finally, you know, we go to sign it, and we all walk into Wendy's office and we sit down, you know, because this is a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
And for everybody, I mean, especially like for Mark, who'd already been through the ringer once, and, you know, he's the guitar player in Keel. He's not the singer, he's not Ron, you know, so he had to go out and do it again, and he did. And he found a great band, and he got a sign. So it's like, whoop, you know, this is crazy. You look at this different now, you know, as opposed to then. We're just like, yeah, dude, we're gonna get signed. Okay, good, fine. You're Mark Ferrari, you know, we'll be cool. We get there, and we all sit down at the table, and there's contract. You know, Ant has a special pen, our drummer, Ant. And but Oni's behind the desk with Wendy, so he's facing us, and immediately kind of like, okay, why? And he's clearly agitated.
Oh. And
Wendy says in that voice, you know, Oni has something to tell you. And we're just like, and that would be. And he says, yeah, I was in Phoenix over the weekend, and I'm joining Lynch Mob. And we're just going, because about 2 months before that, George had approached us at the Whiskey. We'd done a No Bozo jam.
Right.
And we right, you remember those? And Sam Mann, my buddy, was I think he was in charge of those, I think. And as we're walking up to the dressing room, we just played a bunch of new tunes from the writing sessions we'd done. So this was probably March. And as we go by, George says, "Hey, Oni, you want to be in a Ferrari or you want to drive one?" And I'm thinking, I walk by, I'm like, that's pretty good, not bad, George. Yeah. And we go upstairs, and he's kept downstairs for a while, but then he finally makes his way up or whatever. So it's us, him, Eric Singer, Larry Moran, and I don't think Wendy was there that night. And for the next 30, 40 minutes, all he did was just say, "Oni, you got to join my band. Oni, and he's just hammered. And just like, you know, we're going to do it. And Oni walks out and says, "No, don't worry, man. It's cool. You know, we're all bros." And you know, that's Oni. You know, he definitely likes to, you know, keep that vibe. Love him to death. But that's Oni. He just doesn't want to make waves, and everything's cool. So we go and do the rehearsals. We're doing everything just kind of as usual, but I guess it must have been kind of like one of those, you know, sneaking out on the weekends, you know, kind of thing. Don't let mom and dad know I got out through my bedroom window, you know. Right. George just like, "Here, just fly to Phoenix Southwest, you know, it's $50, I got you." And and that was that. So boom, done. He's gone. Kevin Beamish still stays to do the record, when he could have left, and he did not. Wendy could have dumped us, she did not. MCA could have dumped us, they did not. So it took about 5 months to find Roy Cathy. Where we found him was the Button South in Hallandale. Okay. by Oni's best friend at the time, and I don't know if they still, I assume they still are. And he said, "Hey, I got your guy for you." And we're kind of like, this is collusion, maybe, you know. Right. How dumb, you know, fool me once kind of thing. Right. But he was right. You know, we got Roy in there, and he just killed it from the word go. Like, all right, yeah, this is our guy. Cool. Off we go.
Awesome singer. That whole record is just one of my favorites. I love that record.
Awesome. Thank you. Did you hear any of the other demos we did?
No.
All right. Well, let's have a chat after this is done. We'll see what we can do to change that.
Yeah. For sure. That's awesome. Okay, so now this new project.
Yep.
Is it a band or is it what exactly is it?
It started out as an assignment to myself, which was, okay, I love Thin Lizzy, always have.
Yes.
I mean, I got a Renegade, scarf merch scarf up behind me, but they're not really revered here like they are in the rest of the world.
Yeah, as they should be.
Right. I mean, I always make the joke that we did do a Lizzy tribute band for a little while because no one else was, so why not? And
right.
So we'd play and yay, Boys Are Back in Town, they know that one, or hey, Jailbreak, they know that one. But then they loved it when we did the Metallica tune. And I was like, no. Why'd you put that in the middle of a Thin Lizzy set? Well, that's kind of their reputation here, It's like no one really knows. As opposed to the rest of the world, you can talk to anyone about the intricacies of fighting versus Renegade versus Grand Slam. I mean, Phil Lynott is justifiably revered.
Yeah. So
I was like, all right, I love the Probot record that Dave Grohl did, but that was like different bands, right? And then there's always bands will do cover albums, which is okay. That's kind of cool. But I was like, all right, why don't I give myself an assignment where I want to write a record for Thin Lizzy as if it were today. I was like, here, guys, here's everything, sounding modern. I'm not trying to like reproduce the production values on Jailbreak, because you'll never get it and it'll drive you crazy. Right. So, okay, it's a modern record. Let's get a modern approach, sort of, not crazy, and keep all the elements that made Thin Lizzy without trying to sound like just kind of this poor copycat. Right. So twin harmony guitars, essential. Kind of busy R&B based jazzy rhythm section. Cool lyrics based around stories, and just guitars, and not like crazy shred guitars, like really, like you got to work at it, tasteful lead guitars as opposed to just winging it, and it was that was more of a challenge I thought it was going to be. But and then the other thing for me was I wasn't going to try and sing like Phil Lynott.
Right.
You're in trouble if you try and do that for anybody,
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sing like me, and we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had 9, and that one's done. And now I just got drums for one of the tunes for the second record, which is all written. All written, and that has, I think we got 3 tracks to do for drums, and that was done. And then we have a third one, which is a concept record, and that's about half done.
Oh my gosh!
So busy,
very busy.
It's becoming more of a band, I guess.
I guess so. Well, and how did the Shinedown connection come to this?
Eric Bass and I have been friends for like 15 years. Since I moved to Charleston, we got introduced one day, and we just hit it off. We're just buddies. So and then he got into Shinedown, and he had a studio here. So I'd be working. I rented a booth at his place, and I'd just be kind of hanging around or whatever, and just heard what he was doing and watched that. So he got in the band, and of course they got bigger than they were, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
And Eric started producing it and doing all the writing. Well, not all the writing, but a lot of the writing. And it was cool to just watch your friend just rock it, to success. Yeah. So, but they're all really great guys, and we just naturally became friends. So when I was doing this, Eric was like, "You got to ask Barry to do." It was specifically it was to do What Have I Done?
Right. Because
it's in 6/8. And Barry is really good in 6/8, trained in jazz. He just like, let me at it. I'm like, what am I going to say? No, I've only played on 40 #1 hits or whatever it is. Oh yeah. Exactly. What do you want that for? Yeah. So I was like, sure, man, bring it. So he played on that. He played on Take It All. He played on Kingpin. Mm-hmm. Because I said, a lot of this stuff from their catalog, I mean, Lizzy, there's a lot of funky R&B kind of stuff. You want to try one of those? He's like, yes. So you're in. Right. So, and then Rick Sanders, who was in Saigon for a minute, and then he was in STA with Jason, and he works with Barry. He's Barry's drum tech. But Rick and I had a television music firm for, I don't know, 10 years. We did, radio, cinematic promos, ads, all that kind of stuff. Right. So Rick plays on a lot of it. Eric Rickard, who was the main engineer over at Ocean. Sorry, well, he was at Ocean, but now Big Animal. Bad Animal's a band. so Rickard played on one tune, and then Mark Danzeisen, who was the first actual drummer to like get the thing going. Mark was in Little Caesar, and he's in the River Dogs.
Right.
So but the first song we'd done was Easy Come, Easy Go. And Mark and I did that. I threw it at Mark. I was like, what do you think of this? It needs to sound 70s, but not like we're trying to sound 70s.
Right.
He's like, okay, well, how about this? I was like, perfect. I mean, everyone who drummed on it, all I said was, can you think of it like this? And it came back and was like, love it. Great.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So yeah, the one song that I've heard is the one that Jody sent me, which is Take It All.
Take It All. That's Barry on drums.
Yeah. And I try not to, the first time I listen, I try not to get any backstory. I just want to hear the song.
Sure.
So I knew nothing about it going in, and I went, oh my God, I love this. This is Thin Lizzy. So
Yeah.
you nailed it.
Hot dog.
Yeah. It was funny. My fiance was in the other room, and I went, oh shit. And then she walked in and she goes, oh yeah, this is right up your alley.
Yeah. It's cool. Thank you. That one has got one of my favorite moments at the end. There's that big snare solo or snare fill at the end as the song comes to a close.
Right.
I said to Barry, just go nuts. Give me like a Misty Mountain Hop overly long snare fill. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, how long do you want? I said, long, just go. So he sends that over and he's like, it's too much, isn't it? I was like, nope. Perfect. Thank you. He's like, really? I said, yeah, leave it alone. Awesome. So yeah, that one, I was really hoping that kind of medieval feel came out of it. Like Phil Verone created the what do you call it, the lyric video for it.
Mm-hmm.
So usually he's drumming for the Saigon Kicks, but now he's like, he's doing this stuff too. And he said, let me do it. What do you think? And I'm like, I think Braveheart. Okay. And he just took off, and that was, his visual for it. And he nailed it. So, yeah. But yeah, I wanted that big, just easy to remember chorus like they would do. Just kind of like cool little phrases in between about, coming of age in that era, the medieval era. Right. It's going to be bad, kids, so you're going to go to war and you're going to swing ugly things around the end of a stick and you're trying to kill somebody, or they're going to try to kill you. So how do you get out of this? Take it all. That's out. So, and it was Phil's idea to find all the kind of Anglo-Irish, Scottish wars, and they use them as one of the backdrops to like the maps and stuff, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. No, it's really great. Have you been to Ireland to see the statue?
I have not been to see the statue, but I have been to Ireland. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah. Everyone looks like a relative. Just like, hey, you look familiar. Hey, you look familiar too. All these people with dark hair and blue eyes. What the hell's going on? Or they're redhead and a lot of freckles.
Right.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved Dublin. When I was there, and this was a while ago, these guys just approached me right on the street. Just, hey man, because I had long hair at the time and all this, and they're just like, hey, and a bunch of other long-haired guys. Who are you? And who are you? And they're just, oh yeah, I'm an American. I'm here visiting, whatever. And they said, hey, you want to come here to rehearse? They were in a band. They had a record out and all that. So the guys, they were called Predator at the time, and everyone was just so friendly and very easy to get along with for me. But it's probably so deep in my genetic code. Of course it is for me.
Right. My background is Scottish, and I play golf, and so I went to Scotland to play.
Cool.
And I hit a shot on the 18th hole at the old course, and I hit in there about 15 feet or so. And then we left and we went around the town and we did all this stuff. And like, I don't know, 3 hours later, I'm walking back down towards the course, and an old guy stops me on the street and he says, "You still got the closest shot on 18 today." I fucking love this place.
I know. It's great. Yeah, I did have an actual Guinness when I was there too. Nice. And it's different, man. And my favorite was Guinness and Current. So a friend of mine here was going over there for something. And I said, "You want your backstage pass in an Irish pub?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Don't ask for a Guinness, because you'll stick out. You're an American. Ask for Guinness and Current." And I said, "You'll like it. It's Current, just great, but he's like, "Really? You sure?" And I'm like, "You got nothing to lose. Right. The price of a pint, right?"
Right.
So he walks up, he says, "Hi, how you doing?" And immediately going to give him
mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Can I have a Guinness and Current?" And they go, "Yeah, coming right up." Yeah. So they were just completely impressed. He's like, it was like, oh, like the keys of the kingdom. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, because you're not just a stupid American.
Right.
You got some inside info.
There you go. There we go. All right. So where do we get it? It's Kinell, correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure I got that
You're correct.
pronunciation right.
Yep.
Where do we find the stuff where for everybody to go get this? Because you have to get it. This is, I mean, it's seriously, it's so good.
It's the Bandcamp is like this. Pointing everyone to Bandcamp. Just type in Bandcamp or sorry, Kinell. I think it's Kinell Band at Bandcamp or dot. It's a confusing little thing, but if you type in the search engine Kinell, let's say Take It All, it'll take you right to it. So we have actual hard copies of CDs that we, because people still want them.
Yes.
We're talking about vinyl, but vinyl's, it's like a 6-month waiting period. It's crazy, and just like. I mean, sure, I can take an advance order, but I don't like feeling like I'm hanging on to someone's money and waiting to give them something.
Right. From what I understand, and you probably know this better than I do, the oil that goes to make the vinyl, there's like only one company that makes it now, which is why the vinyl is hard to get and more expensive than it used to be.
Not a surprise. I think one of the biggest pressing plant like burned down a year and a half ago too. So that didn't help things either.
Yeah.
But everyone's. I'd heard Metallica had like bought their own plant or made their own plant too. So you got people who are catching on to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's big again. It's great here in Tampa. There's the world's biggest record store is here.
Really?
And there's like 5 or 6 other really good ones just all in this area right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's I got back into it. I found myself not going out and trying to buy, Sabbath Volume 4 or whatever.
Right.
I just started looking in the dollar section because when my classical collection is huge now because nobody wants those records.
Right.
And I get them and they're perfect because you better not touch Grandpa's records or he'll kill you.
Right.
And then Grandpa dies and they just take it to the music store or the record store. No one cares, or Goodwill even.
Right.
But what I'm finding is stuff like Chet Atkins records, Wes Montgomery records, Roy Clark records, Jimmy Smith records for like $1, and they're perfect, and they're like on Verve and Capitol, and these are the best rooms in the world with the best engineers. They sound killer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like stuff I think that was way past my palate, as a 17 or 18-year-old. I mean, there's some stuff that still sounds great, like Molly Hatchet's first 2 records, and they're just still really fucking good,
Yeah.
Danny Joe Brown, go on! That's worth every cent, for God's sake.
For sure. This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime.
How great was that? Chris McLernon's now one of my new favorite people in the whole world. That shark's tooth, if you're just listening, that shark's tooth was as big as his hand. That was cool. That was really cool. And the music is great stories. Make sure you go check out Kinell, Kinell at Bandcamp to listen to the site. If you're a fan of Thin Lizzy, you got to check this stuff out. And according to him, there's a lot more stuff coming. So really cool stuff. I'm looking forward to hearing it all. All right, if you liked what you heard, download it. Subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're listening or watching, do whatever it is they want to do because we appreciate it. I'm new to this, so, I don't quite know the vernacular yet, but we're trying to figure it out. Until next time, I'm Jack Trash. This is The Riff, and live your life to 11.